Blog Talk Radio.
Yo, this is Heru Radio, broadcasting to you live. This is our first host, Asad. Just calling to let everybody know the end is not yet. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and we're going to basically get in right now.
Is as simple as it ought to be. Light-skinned girls like the dark-skinned quality. You don't understand? You want an explanation? Well, let DL release the frustration. As I see it, every single day, light-skinned girls ain't satisfied unless they get their way, always. Plus they act stuck up. They all add up to one great big fuck up. They try to play suck up when they want something. Then always leave a brother with nothing. You think you look better cause your skin's a little bit lighter. You're thinking you're my type like I was a typewriter. No, you think you're all of that and all of this, but you ain't really shit without a makeup kit. See, you might be light, but you're ugly to me. Black is beautiful to me, that's beauty. Dark-skinned girls are better than light-skinned. Light-skinned girls ain't better than dark-skinned. Dark-skinned girls are better than light-skinned. Light-skinned girls ain't better than dark-skinned.
Ain't no light-skinned girl better than me. Pick a light-skinned girl. She can't do nothing. They can't dress. They think they look better, and they really don't. Most of them got weeds anyway.
Hello? Yo, what's up? This is Heru Radio with your man, Asad, accompanied by my brother. Say what's up, homie.
What's going on, everybody? This is Asad.
That's what's up, man. And we here to just build, yo. So many things going on in the news today. Me and my brother just been doing the knowledge. And we just want to make this different from a lot of the other blog talk shows in the sense that we want to actually deal with practical solutions, you know, as well as, you know, deep thoughts of the people, you know, who are tired of the running around, who are tired of everybody going back and forth, who's tired of people, you know, putting things out there that's not true, you know. What do you got to say about that, homie?
True indeed. This show is going to be a little bit more, I guess you could say, intimate as far as we really want to express our views, but also give you, the listeners, who are also, you know, tied into this with us to, you know, speak on, you know, not only what, you know what I'm saying, we building on, but which I want to build on as well, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, what the topic of the day or what, you know, may be something that's relevant in the news that we may talk about that, you know, we want to hear what the people have to say. Because a lot of shows, you know what I'm saying, it's more so you may just have a guest speaking, you know, he or she may just, you know, speak on something. But, you know, like, especially for myself, you know, I'm a young, you know, 20-something-year-old original man with knowledge itself. And I'm pretty sure there's, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of us out there, young men and women, that, you know, have something to say, but also like to, you know, speak with, you know, brothers and sisters of conscience, you know what I'm saying, who are conscious like, you know what I'm saying, yourself, Asir, and other brothers and sisters in the community, you know what I'm saying, because we all one family. It's just that, you know, so at times we may, you know, disagree, even though we all trying to, you know, move through the same path in the wilderness of North America.
Indeed. And being here in the wilderness of North America, as coined by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him, so many things happen that cause us to doubt each other, doubt ourselves, doubt our children, doubt our families. You know, it seems that doubt is like one of the major components of everybody's day. Yet we don't even understand that doubt itself is a physical anomaly that is really only manifested on this plane of reality that we call, you know, third density. But as we're getting ready to transcend this, you know, a lot of things is happening that a lot of people are not aware of. Like me and my brother was talking earlier, people like today, everybody's favorite black president, has basically said that he's going to start outsourcing NASA. You know what I'm saying? So what that means for everybody is that NASA is going to have to compete with a bunch of different corporations from all over the country to build space shuttles that they are now starting to refer to as space taxis. You know what I'm saying? So that means that, you know, you'll be able to, you know, jump on a space taxi, you know, that may be owned by Starbucks or, you know, Toys R Us or whatever. So all of them have now the right to build space shuttles, and for a whole bunch of bread that nobody got, they'll be able to put you on this ship and allegedly take you into space. Now, the only problem with that is these people don't really go into space. They really just orbit the upper atmosphere and kind of just chill, you know, because they really can't break the Van Allen belt, you know, which, for those people who don't know, that's the electromagnetic field that revolves around the Earth that protects the Earth from things like solar winds, cosmic drift, you know, ion rays, X-rays, things like that. So I don't know how they're going to do it. You know what I mean? What do you think, homie?
Well, I think he's just, you know what I'm saying, because the homie from Virgin, I believe he has his own independent, you know what I'm saying, team that's actually, you know, I think you pay like $1 million or something like that, and they'll, you know,
yeah, Richard Branson.
Yeah, Richard Branson, quote-unquote, you know what I'm saying, take you up into space or whatever. I just think it's just, you know, another commercialization, you know, commodity, so to speak, where now it's just like, okay, so we're gonna allow, you know, something like NASA, you know what I'm saying, which is supposedly supposed to be bringing, you know what I'm saying, doing all this other types of research into black holes and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Now they're gonna try to flip it. So basically it's like a commodity, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you know, what you doing tomorrow? Let's go into space. Like, I don't see that happening. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. I mean, these people, coincidentally, the same time they're doing this, NASA has spent like maybe $3.5 billion, you know, to they spent I think it was $5.2 billion on this thing that they call the Ares rocket that was supposed to allegedly have a lot of space mapping equipment or whatever. So naturally, they Obama just told these dudes to scrap it. You know what I'm saying? These people have been building this thing for the past 16 years. No, excuse me, that's not true. For the past 6-7 years. So at the cost of $5.2 billion, this dude is like, you know what? Scratch that. We're not even going to the mall. We're going to turn these companies and start having them building air taxis so we can make these NASA people more competitive. So what that is going to do, that's my son, y'all. He's really not feeling it neither. What he's going to do, too, is create a situation where NASA is going to have to lay off at least, you know, 1,000 workers, you know what I'm saying, in order for them to even do that. So that's more people on unemployment. That's more so-called smart people that are now disgruntled and wind up turning into Unabombers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's not cool, man. Yeah. It's not cool, man. You know. But analogous to that, man, I find that all of this is coincidentally funny that this is happening at the same time of the travesties in Haiti, you know, because, you know, of all the stuff they dealing with. The reports now through the BBC and some of the so-called international telecoms, they basically saying that those people are dealing with human trafficking now. Mm-hmm. You know, they trafficking Haitian babies out of that place and giving them to everybody else that ain't a Haitian and ain't black. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. At the same time, the president of Ghana put out an edict that any Haitian that he would send planes and stuff to pick Haitians up and make them give them parcels of land in Ghana.
Yeah.
You know?
But they don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you?
Why they don't want that?
I don't know if you keep it. But there's this new internet, you know, like how they have all these internet games and whatnot now. There's a new internet game where you play like either a white dude or a white chick, and you can actually buy a black child as a fashion accessory. You know what I'm saying? That's how you look at our people. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at the Madonnas and you look at the Angelina Jolies and whatnot, that's why, like, they don't want these young, you know what I'm saying, these young brothers and sisters to go to Africa or to go anywhere where people are going to give them knowledge themselves. They don't want them to end up somewhere in England where somebody going to flip the whole script and make them be the complete opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why they don't like a black, like, you know what I'm saying, the original child is looked at to them like a tool, you know what I'm saying? It's like a fashion accessory to them. Like, look, I got my little black baby on my arm. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm helping Haiti. You know, so I adopted 5 babies.
You said I'm helping Haiti. Yeah, but that's the thing. But then when I'm peeping it, a lot of the people helping Haiti, you know, all these niggas is at the Grammys. And, you know, they living it up. You know, I see a man, Mr. Jean up there, you know, being the face for, you know, post-traditionalist Haiti. And as, you know, I guess the avatar of that, they using him essentially as a black hole. Well, let's say this, he's allowing himself to be used as a black hole so that way they can siphon all of the energy and the science out of it, because he also is the one who put Haitian on the map. You know what I mean? Like, keep it real, up until the time of Wyclef Fuji's, peoples was really, you know, hating on Haitians. They still do.
Shitting on the Haitians, calling them Haitian booty scratchers and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that really hasn't changed. But what I also see is that, you know, now that he is being this quasi-humanitarian, you know, that he also has the time in the midst of the earthquake, you know, to make a record with Mulatto and a video, you know. Yeah. That really wasn't done in Haiti, you know.
Done out here in Brooklyn.
Yeah, dude, it seems like that shit. So what did he do? He was down there, he was helping the people, giving them food, and then jumped back up to do the video, and then went back down, and then came back up for the Grammys. Like, is that what people really think is going on?
Because I don't. Neither do I. Like the day after he's on TV crying, saying that Haiti needs aid and all that, he's up here in Brooklyn shooting videos, flying Movado in from Jamaica and all of that. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't serve two masters. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if Haiti's the priority, that's supposed to be the priority, point blank. Like, all that other stuff is, like, put to the side, because really and truly, that's not important. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's putting out a Haiti album now, and they're all getting paid off that. I don't know if the listeners know about that. You know what I'm saying? The Hope for Haiti album is, like, going crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's recording a song, something with Haiti and all that. Like, people are using the tragedy as a way to build up their reputation.
Yes. I even see people, you know, in the social conscious community, you know, weighing in, which is good, because we all should really try to dig and find out. However, there's a huge spiritual thing going on with not only the Haitian thing. This thing is something that is a consistent value to the so-called enemy, because the same tactics applied in Haiti were the same tactics applied in Katrina, the same tactics applied in Rwanda, the same tactics applied in Angola, the same tactics applied in Ethiopia, the same tactics applied in South America. Like, it's no coincidence that Liberia, you know what I mean? Anywhere where there's a heavy concentration of dark plasma that is incidentally marginalized and away from the mainstream, let's say, black or European mind state consciousness, and they are building on their own culture and their own people, there's a deep fear in that. And forced conversions, genocide, you know, mass expulsions, you know, we are now in the age in which weather is now becoming a weapon, you know what I mean? And we're not saying that, you know, when Chavez, just like me, just like you, came out and was talking about how this was a hard thing and all of that, you know, a huge section of our people don't even want to hear that, you know. They don't want to get to the root as to why. We as original people have been deemed and have been marginalized to only respond to the symptom. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So as a means now, we believe that America, as much stuff that the United States Corporation, they really believe that through the military, they're receiving aid now. But, I mean, really think about it. If there's been reports of human trafficking and the only people on the ground is the military, then obviously that would mean that the military is not necessarily, I'm not saying that they involved, but I'm saying that they there, and if they ain't stopping it, then somebody turning the blind eye, somebody getting paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I look at the bottom of the telethon thing, the only names, the consistent names I see is Bush, Clinton. And when have them niggas ever done anything positive for original people?
Yep.
I can't imagine. I mean, if any of the listeners, school me, let me know, because I don't remember anything like that.
Wow.
Essentially, too. Yeah, what were you going to say, homie?
Nah, I said because, they have it. And they won't. What did the homie Bush go on TV and say? He said, send bread. Straight up. Send that cash. You know what I mean? Send greenbacks. Send some of that fiat our way. Don't send nothing else. We want the money.
That's the first time I've seen Bush since Katrina, nigga. Like, I ain't see this nigga since then, till now. Last time I seen him was when he was leaving because his cousin was about to take office. And then when that happened, I didn't see the nigga since till Haiti. Then I hear that him and Bush and Clinton and them niggas, they live down there. They've been living down there since, they got cribs and stuff down there. You know what I'm saying? They live, because again, the satanic stuff that these guys are into, Satanism in its modern Western philosophy sense, going all the way back to the OTO and Crowley and all of these devils or whatever, all of that stuff is a bastardized version of things like Palo, Voodoo, Santisimo Muerte, Candomblé, all of that indigenous, Goma, all of that type of stuff that we was dealing with that black people got turned off from when we decided to become, when we allowed ourselves to become students or how do you say, proponents of Christianity in the Western sense of it. Because again, Christian, is not necessarily an evil thing. You know what I mean? Because it has ancient roots going all the way back to pre-Axumite. So to me, if I was going to be a Christian, I'd be dealing with the old stuff, the stuff that the Pope is trying to get Mussolini to get him. That they got pushed back over into a Treviso to try to get. I'm talking about the real, Coptic, real stuff, Whereas all of this Caesar Borgia, let's worship the white man, we don't really care about his facial features thing. That's the thing that's basically crippling them. Coincidentally, too, most of and this report came through the BBC, you can check it out on YouTube or whatever. They said that when they were doing the averages, most of the people that were killed in the initial quakes in Port-au-Prince, most of those people were Catholic. And one of the first things that was hit was the Catholic Church down here. Whereas a lot of the voodoo practitioners and devotees that was in the hills and the mountains, they still good. Ain't nobody going to check it out. They good.
That's why they say a lot of the Haitians are actually going back. You know what I'm saying? To the voodoo.
To the voodoo, right?
They're going back to their original roots because they can see that. The proof is. You know what I'm saying? The proof is in the pudding. It's in front of your face. It's in your eyes.
And that's what I mean. Like, well, let me ask you this, brother. I mean, for those that don't know, Saga Asad has, traveled. You know what I mean? He's an extensive musician. He's bilingual. He was down there in Argentina when the government crashed down there, right?
Oh yeah.
He was down there because he has an album out. Everybody, please go get that. It's really hot. And he was down there when the whole thing happened. Tell some of the people some of the crazy shit that you've seen in terms of that.
Well, it was a crazy experience to live through, but also, you know what I'm saying, it was a blessing, as well, just because, when you stand on your square and you know who you are, and you have a deep, profound, respect for your culture, and you know what I'm saying, the people around you, regardless of if they respect you or if they hate you or if they love you or whatever, they respect that, you know what I'm saying, because you don't even have to say anything with that. They can just see that, you know what I'm saying, they can feel that, So, like, you know what I'm saying, when I was down there, I've walked through demonstrations, people throwing, Molotov cocktails at the police and all of that, and I'm just walking through chilling. You know what I'm saying? The people coming up to me, building with me, like, yo, what's good? Like, we about to go on the beast. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what's good? Like, they, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even from there. I'm not even from there. I had, you know what I'm saying, deep conversations with brothers and sisters down there, you know what I'm saying, native brothers and sisters down there that's basically, like, you know what I'm saying, telling me, like, they waiting for us because they already know. You know what I'm saying? Just to even get on Argentina, as quiet as it's kept, after Haiti had their revolution and got free, the very next country after that where our brothers and sisters rose up was Argentina.
Which explains why after Operation Paperclip they brought all the Nazis down there to kind of break that for the door.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying, to break our stuff up. Where now when you see, you know what I'm saying, being down there, seeing brothers and sisters down there, you know what I mean, a lot of them, you know what I'm saying, if you can truly see, you know what I'm saying, their features, et cetera, you know, they're very downtrodden and beaten down. Like, the people were surprised of, you know what I'm saying, I'm down there, I'm walking with my head up high, I'm building with the brothers and sisters and whatnot, and I'm trying to talk to brothers and sisters down there, and they walking around all the time with their heads down. And I actually spoke to a brother, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't originally from Argentina, he was actually from Somalia, you know what I'm saying, another thing a lot of brothers and sisters don't know, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, our brothers and sisters from Africa, you know what I'm saying, is going back, you know, coming back over here and repopulating, you know what I'm saying, South America and whatnot. And I was building with the brother, you know. And I'm like, yo, what's going on with that? And he was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, it's like the way he explained it to me is like, it's like a modern-day slavery. Like, so they don't let us get no jobs. We in the slave class. You know what I'm saying? We can't, you know what I'm saying, we don't look at them in the face because they feel disrespected and, you know, they get jumped in the street and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. But then I'm down there, you know what I'm saying, from Brooklyn. I'm walking around with a fez on my head, you know, straight, you know what I'm saying, just chilling with my head up. You know what I mean? I'm going in all the you know what I'm saying, I'm doing my shows and things of that nature. And I'm walking around with a whole bunch of different people. I'm getting chauffeured around town and meeting and greeting different people. And the people looking at me like, who is this nigga?
Right.
You know, but you know what I'm saying, people taking me to some of the high class restaurants and whatnot, and I'm coming in there sitting down, just, you know, doing my own thing. You know, but still having the mindset and the ground to know that, like, you know what I mean, I'm an original man, and no matter where I step, my people have been there before. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to say I want, you know what I'm saying, respect for that, but I'm saying just my mannerisms and my actions are going to make the people know that I command respect for that, because that's the truth.
Indeed. Do you think that being down there, did you see any hints of Nazism or anything in it?
Oh, of course. Definitely so. True indeed. You know, like what a lot of people don't know, you know what I'm saying, just a quick, you know what I'm saying, tidbit of history lesson on Argentina, you know, as my brother spoke about Operation Paperclip, you know, where, you know what I'm saying, they funded a lot of Nazis down there. But actually another, you know, fact is Argentina has the third highest population of Jews outside of Israel and North America. So how you going to have Jews down there and Nazis down there at the same time? Oh, because they're the same people. Yeah, I heard that one before.
What? It's funny. I think I read a book about that called The Transfer Agreement. I forget the author right now, but anybody who's got connection to Amazon or bookstore, go get a book called The Transfer Agreement, and the subtitle is The Pact Between the Jews and the Nazis between 1945 and 1965, I believe. I don't remember the author right now, but check it out. It's very deep. Do you think that, because, you know, my generation is the last generation to remember music before hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Whereas your generation, to me, seem like it's the last one to respect it, you know what I mean? Whereas the generations that's coming out now with this thing, like the post, let's say the post NWA, the post Eminem generations, you know what I'm saying? These kids who think that old school was like 50 Cent and like, you know what I'm saying, Nelly. Yeah, you know, like that's old school to them. Do you think, as a person of that bracket, do you see in, you know, your peers or people younger than you, do you see any, like, what's up with them? I mean, do they realize what's happening to them? Do they know that, there's active government programs to lock them down, things like that?
I mean, to and I guess you could say, to their credit, like, they're like, a lot of them, their mind is so warped and, like, it's so ill, like, with how they're programmed through the TV and media and whatnot, these internet websites and things of that nature, because, I'm 24,
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, like, let's say junior high, I graduated from junior high in 2000. I didn't have a cell phone. They got kids in elementary school now that got cell phones. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I got my first cell phone when I first got into college. So like with like how how technology is now basically, technology controls everything now. So I think, like if like we're moving towards a technocracy, basically. They just launched the iPad and things of this nature. People in power in a little bit are going to be the people that create the technology, because the technology is what controls the people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I look at it as being that they're so caught into these types of things. Like, I don't know if, some of the, we open the phone line, some of the listeners can, give their own experiences, interpretations and whatnot. But, like, some of these kids can't construct proper sentences. They speak in internet speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have, they speak to people in, shortened phrases like LOL and LMO, etc. I don't know all of them, but
OMG.
They speak exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, like, I don't know what that is.
Right. That to me is a representation of the infection of the information virus. A lot of people will remember the Y2K thing, but they don't really know or didn't really investigate deeply what that was about. The whole Y2K thing in its infancy began from the Microsoft people. You know what I'm saying? Because the Microsoft people came and retooled everybody's computer back in the beginning, so they already put the glitch in it for it to, let's say, potentially malfunction. So essentially what was happening was the IT and technological companies were basically blackmailing the government, saying that if you don't give us certain leeway and subsidies, we're not going to be able to fix this thing, right? But what was also happening was that so much information was coming into the actual data stream of the Internet itself. So the Internet itself developed out of a military application. So the military was dealing with the Internet. They had it, according to certain documents, they had it, depending on what you read, they had it either between the late 30s or the early 40s. Yep. But it didn't become a public application until they seen that they can make money from it. Yep. And what it basically is a generic version or artificial version of the Akashic record. So essentially they used this as a template to be able to do it, but the more data came into it, the more the mainframe itself began to get conscious of itself. And then it began to almost malfunction and do certain things. That's what movies like War Games and 2001 with How, any movies where the computers is taking over with these people, that was basically the precursor to let you know that this is what was happening. And that up until the last minute, these people was up at DEFCON 4 because they really didn't know. So what essentially happened, there's books called The Matrix that talk about this and other stuff, but what essentially happened was they made a deal. And they agreed that they would let the mainframe, they would let the computer find ways to exist outside of the actual mainframe itself. And then this is when things like the RFID chip and all of these things started coming into being, because they were growing the computer chips in Silicon Valley inside of these embryos that today on TV, that back in the days they call test tube babies. You know what I'm saying? So when I was growing up, it was test tube babies. Then it became in vitro. And then after in vitro, they graduated up to basically calling what it is, which is cloning. You know what I'm saying? So in people going and accepting certain shots and things like that, a lot of those biochips that were grown in these embryos were in or are in a lot of those what do you call it? Those syringes and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. In which now the government, just like everything, GPS and everything, was able to start localing stuff and low-jacking people. And basically the ELF thing became a lot easier for them to do to people because people became more and more technological. That's why when I remember one day getting on a train and realizing that everybody on the train was in their cell phone or in their iPod or in their telephone or you know what I'm saying? They organized it. Like, people don't have interpersonal relationships no more.
No.
People have text dates. Yeah, people have, like, text dates and, like wire chat.
They don't even have real sex no more. They go sexting.
Yeah.
You know? And
they
like, all these things is crimes now. Like, if you text message, like, I don't know, like, if you text message somebody something hateful, they can go and report you to the police, and that's a crime. See, I believe you're getting like five joints minimum for that type of stuff right now.
See what I mean? Like, this
you bothering somebody on the internet, you know what I'm saying? Like, you having internet wars with people, you go to jail for that. And if the person's in another state, that's a multi-state crime. That's a crime across state lines.
Right.
I don't know if the people remember, but I believe it was last year, the year before that, some girl, she killed herself because she was talking to who she thought was a boy online, and it ended up being her enemy's mom.
Her neighbor, right?
Yeah, her mom, and her mom had to send her naked pictures and things of that nature, and they came in exposing it. Oh, it was really us. It wasn't a dude and all that. She went and killed herself, committed suicide. You know what I'm saying? And her mom is going to go to jail for that. But that was the precursor to basically start initiating all these laws where it's like, if you bothering somebody on the internet, if you doing all this type of stuff, we locking you up.
Yeah, man. It's definitely a scam, you know, like everything else, you know, in this place. It's just that, you know, we, I think, as people who are aware, consciousness-wise, I think we're getting to a point where we can no longer begin to allow ourselves to believe the hype. We got to start actively asking questions, if not of anybody else, at least ourselves, and getting to the point that we can, you know, really be about something about reality and not about fiction, not about things that exist. You know what I'm saying? So essentially all we can do is do things like this, and hopefully people will have constructive things that they can build on, so that way it's not just a situation that we're, you know, just talking, not thinking. Because the talking, you know, is cool, yet we can't continue to talk and not act, because your enemy is losing ground daily, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right when the Haiti thing hit him, all of now, he did the Haiti thing, now all of the West is underwater and stuff like that. Like, they don't tell people in America half the stuff that's happening in this country, you know. I mean, whole track, and then while parts of the country is underwater, huge parts of the country is still on fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this
and
thing
other
is
parts
real.
of the country is getting snowstorms.
Yeah,
you know?
You see what I'm saying? And what, these people want to link up and create a hemisphere-wide government? See, the problem with globalism is that it's a fictitious concept. So anybody talking about, hey, we global, what they really saying is that we plugged into this new artificial way of universal living, you know. Global is just, come on, man. Earth, you know what I mean? That's just one place in the cosmos. You dig what I'm saying? It happens to be a place where we live, but it's not the only place that we're going to be. So we don't even, most people don't even understand how the planet works, more or less understand, you know, how to get to the moon or you know, the intricacies of countries. So again, we're just dealing with the regurgitated fact that we are still in the same place. Nothing has changed. You know, the only thing that has changed is our perception of the reality, but the reality itself is consistent. Black people still at the bottom globally. You know what I mean? White folks still shitting on them. Or, white folks capitalizing on the fact that black folks don't have no real sense of themselves still. And black folks that are getting money want to keep that going because they don't want to see a world in which their enemies don't exist. You know? Excuse me. That's the other thing I was going to ask you. When it comes to when it comes to, like, because you're like a bilingual artist, for those that don't know, Saga, Asad, what's the name of your album, G?
I have Saludos en el nombre del rey, which means, greetings in the name of the king. I have, that was put out about 2 years ago. I have another joint coming out this year, I would say second quarter. That's going to be called Mystic Maroon. That's going to be put out on my independent label, Axel International. And then I have another joint coming out fourth quarter this year. That's going to be put out on Machine Romantic, with another local producer from out here in Brooklyn.
So that's what I mean. Like, as a young man, as an artist doing his thing, who can actually speaking to people on a multi-dimensional level in terms of being able to rap, play your instruments and stuff, and then also sing reggae in Spanish and stuff like that. How are you received by the masses and stuff in terms of those people of those different ethnicities? You see like a commonality? Do they see the commonality when they see you?
I guess I would say yes and no. You know what I'm saying? Because what a lot of people, really like when you get to check into certain things, like like with my experience in South America and different types of experiences, even up here in New York City, you really get to see, like, on certain levels, people check into certain things, because of the different types of understandings, of it, like you could say with, white liberals and, getting involved in different types of groups or, things of that nature. They get involved in, in these things, and, for the most part, some of them have, they all have their own different feelings about it and whatnot. But, like, when you really get to check into what they talking about, or, like, when you really get to gain an understanding of those people, you really get to see the different types of disconnects that may come up, Like, they may listen to your music and have an understanding of it, and you would, you would, hope that they have a respect for it, or at least with that understanding, they know where you coming from, because the things that you're building on, or at least for me personally, in my case, the things that I'm building on is things that I personally feel like, I'm not necessarily talking about, outworldly things, that don't necessarily have an effect on me personally, like everything I write or I speak about is something that affects me personally, which in turn, being that we all universal people, we all have, we all original people, it resonates with my people because they going through the same thing, no matter if I'm talking to them in Spanish or if they speak French or if they speak Portuguese or whatever, around the world, our people, as you said, are always on the lower rungs, So, but all those people above that, when they come into it, like sometimes you might check, you might check with a certain person and they tell you certain things and then you really get to dig what they're talking about and you really see it from the standpoint of like they looking at you or what you doing kind of like on some, some lampoon type shit, like on some, some minstrel show type shit, so to speak, where they digging into it, but they don't really give a fuck. I mean, I don't expect them to, of course not, but they don't really give a fuck. And they really just checking into it, so you could feel like they down with you. And a lot of people get caught in that. Right. Like I make this analogy a lot. Speaking on that. Most people know the band, but there's a thing called Bad Brains. If people ever get a chance to check them out, there's a band called Bad Brains, right? And there's a white band. I can't remember their name right now. I just had it in my head, but it slips my mind. But anyway, this white band recreated a lot of Bad Brains songs. They kept on redoing a lot of, they kept on covering a lot of Bad Brains songs, right? So Bad Brains has a song, Bad Brains is Rastafarian, hardcore punk rock, musicians for, the audience listening, right? They had a song called I Love Jah, They're Rastas, so, they're talking about God or whatever. This white band remixed the song, so to speak. They covered the song, and they made the song about their dog. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. Even though to them, that's the white man's best friend. I understand that. And their dog probably, you flip the word God and you get dog, of course. Sure. But like that's how they look at our shit. Like you gonna take it, like if a black man now, you know, if original man now went up and tried to do an Elvis, you know what I'm saying, song, that's not flying. You know, like I remember a couple years ago, Puff Daddy was talking about how he wanted to be the new James Bond. He said, never in a million years, nigga. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of times with our people, we get to feel flattered about that type of stuff. Like we see a white person with dreadlocks, and we like
a dog.
Yeah,
a dog that wants to get pat on the head.
Yeah, like, oh, that's so cool. You know, he got dreads. She got dreads. You know, and you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Like, you see them rocking, you know what I'm saying? See them at a show and all these type of things. Like,
yeah, to our listeners, to everybody, you know, our listeners, because we get a lot of, like, even just in my own work, you know, there are a lot of Caucasian people who highlight, you know what I mean, about certain things and things that they be going through, and in listening and reading some of these comments that these people leave and some of the queries they make, you know, again, man, all snakes ain't poisonous, you know what I'm saying? But a snake is still a snake regardless. So we got to always take in time that we live in a time now where everything based on the type of magic these people do has been inverted on itself. So a lot of times now you have black folks that's really white folks, and now white folks that's really so-called black folks. Yeah. But tell you this, anybody that's calling themselves white, you know what I'm saying, that happens to be a Caucasian person is somebody under the mind control of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Because when you speak to a person from another state, like white Caucasian people in, you know, who happen to be, let's say, Nazis in places like Russia or Slovenia or Polonia or wherever, they consider themselves Polonian or Russian or whatever first. The Nazi thing is their affiliation. Whereas in America, these people believe that they white first. You know what I'm saying? The white thing is a byproduct of Europeans. It's a survival mechanism. So, again, what's worse? Me talking about what is happening and what these people are doing and how they're eating babies and all of that, right? Or them actually doing it. See what I'm saying? People will come at you and I are talking about what's really hood and what these people are doing, and we're only telling them because we don't want them to get ate. But I'm starting to think that a lot of our black people now, through the hypersexuality and things like rap and movies and things like that, where they are buying into it to the point where I'm seeing black women walk with dogs in they strollers now. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing black women or black men spending all of this money on gold and jewelry and all this other stuff, knowing that these babies are getting their hands hacked off and all of that, you know what I'm saying? And as opposed to, now I'm not saying that people can't have jewelry, and I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying that
of course
it gets to a point where when are we going to start controlling those things and having our own resource? As big a continent as the African continent is, the Africans have no control over their GDPs, man. They don't have no control of anything. They don't export nothing. They don't export nothing without a corporation that happens to be tied into Europe and the United States getting the money off that.
Yeah.
You know? So as much as
they basically just workers.
Exactly.
You know, they're not owners, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But then there's the racism in which they feel that they're better than us. In the sense, or not all of them, but a lot of them feel they're better than us because they still got a language. But they're not even students of their own history. I mean, right now in Africa, you have men ironing women's breasts flat. You know, you have men forcefully circumcising women. You have men eating and having sex with babies to cure AIDS. Like these are some of the. You have people by the millions dying because they're trying to bleach their skin. See, whenever you get to a point like this, what I'm realizing is that the species or the weak aspect of the species is starting to extinct itself. Yeah. And if that's the case, exactly. So if that's the case, let's keep it real. And what did Christ say? He said, "Let's render unto Caesar what is Caesar. Let the dead bury the dead." That's what's happening. But in our community, you know, especially when we're conscious, we have a lot of baggage. That's the other thing in the consciousness thing, man. There's a lot of psychological, emotional guilt and angst that we have as conscious people, wanting to put everybody on and wanting to change everything and things like that. When consciousness or cosmic dark plasma awareness, to me, is not even about that. It's about reaching your own personal level of excellence. as opposed to somebody else's, That's just how I'm seeing it, though. But we down like 12 minutes already, G.
Yeah.
We going in. So what we could do, we could open up the phone lines real quick. Anybody wants to call in, the number, tell them the number, homie.
347-637-1184. If you want to call in, share your thoughts, your opinion, you want to speak on something, please call in.
Yeah, man.
A caller, 770, area code 770-480.
All right.
You're on the air with Super Heru Radio.
Oh, I was just listening.
Okay.
I'm just listening. I did want to add the author's name to the book. Is it Edwin Black?
Yes. That's who it is, sister. See, the black woman, bringing the thing through. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, his name is Edwin Black.
Add a little bit to the conversation, but my name is Thea, and I live in Georgia, in Norcross.
All right.
And I just appreciate you guys allowing us to listen in and get some information that we wouldn't otherwise hear. So I just appreciate you guys' due diligence and your obedience. And I'm just listening in.
Thank you, Queen. I really appreciate it, Queen. And as you are our first caller, we got for our first inaugural broadcast, if you could email me at houseofl, HOUSEOFEL @hotmail.com. We got a complimentary DVD to send out to you.
Thank you. Can I get the email address again, please?
It is house, HOUSEOFEL @hotmail.com. And just
I sure will.
Your address or whatever, and we get it right out to you. Again, Queen, thank you for listening, and thank you for bringing forth that title. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Each one adding on,
Yep, that's right. Thank you.
Peace, Queen. Peace. Yeah, man. Essentially, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the overall assumption that our people have that we already lost, that we're not going to make it. We have these natural inhibitors that we put on ourselves, and we think that that's how we're supposed to be because that's what everybody else is doing. And it's like unless you put it in a hip hop song or a rap video, they unless you're in a rap video or unless you're in something like that, people ain't gonna listen to you. Which is why, again, the only way to really get at and win this war is through creativity, which is show you how scared of creativity they are. They just beat up a painter in Brooklyn, ripped his locks out, and all he had was paintbrush and art. Yeah, ripped his locks out, and what they found on him was paintbrushes and stuff. He was preparing for opening, and now his family is dealing with the fact that they now got to deal with the beast in his court system, But again, the true enemy now is not even the warrior or the physical soldier or the so-called terrorist. It's the creative warriors and the spiritual warriors that they're looking at now. So everybody got to start getting their spirit game up. The Super Heru Radio is always going to give everybody, little tips and things you could do to protect yourself in the coming months and coming times, Yeah.
With the different shifts that's going on, right now, because, this is life in interesting times, We having internet warfare, virtual warfare now.
Exactly.
Look what happened. Look what's going on with Google in China. Where China attacked Google, and then Google was like, all right, so we just going to open up the, the search engine to everybody in China because information is power, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to allow the Chinese people to access it.
It's so deep in China. In America, we always remember when the Chinese Revolution popped off, how they had that picture of that man in front of that tank. In China right now, the Chinese people don't even remember that event. They're dumbing down to people so much they don't even remember that because people don't know that there's parts of the internet that are illegal to go to in America as well as in each country because what Google does is it works with the government to curtail everybody's internet access based on the amount of information the government feels secure about letting out. Yeah. That's why if you want to find certain things, you got to go to other search engines from other countries. Yeah. And then start doing comparative research like that. Mm-hmm. But again, the number to call in, anybody wants to holler, because we are coming down to the last 7 minutes of the show.
Yeah. 347-637-1184. Or if anybody
also,
in the chat room would like to add on.
That's what's up. We also named it Super Heru Radio because the word hero comes from the word Heru, and Heru, again, is the son of Asad, and Asad basically represents, the original man. Heru represents the child that's coming to avenge the father, and Asad representing the divine, original black woman, who is, our matriarch and the matriarch of the universe. So anybody that's got problems with that, is your enemy. But again, this doesn't mean that if you are a person who is into, let's say, Christianity, I would suggest that you get involved in searching the deeper mystics, because in every religion there's a mystic side of it. Mm-hmm. And then the mystic side is where you get the true spirituality out of the religion, which helps you graduate and move closer to the Most High. So in any system you can do that. There's Moors in every country, in every place in the world. It's just, if you don't know that the word Kurdish is analogous to Moor, the word, Sumerian or Elamite or Moabite or Falafel, any of these things are equivalent to that, then, you're, again, under somebody else's control. Yeah. And Super Heru Radio is all about breaking that up.
On that note, we have a caller, 585-755. You are rocking with Super Heru Radio. Hello?
No, I'm just listening, bro.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for doing that, brother.
Can we do? Thank you, brother, for calling in. Okay, so getting down to the last 5 minutes, how about we play a track off the new album that you have coming out with the Brother Supernova song?
All right. True. That's what's up. We got it's called A Deuce. Big up the Supernova song. The Heru Riders. This joint is called A Deuce. Our group together is called A Deuce. We got a video that's streaming on YouTube right now. This is the first track for the video. It's called A Deuce. Hope y'all like it.
Okay.
Supernova storm. If you tell it with a bullet when I wreck that A. Deuce up, I'm a sonic and a balance and bionic. Got the motherfucker straight show shit for your brain juice up. From the inner to the outer, never bother. I'm a winner inner to the inner healer. And a whole lot of shine and a whole lot of fire. And a little bit of pretty speak when the beats make a pretty woman beat to the top. Show no to the rock, now stop. A, make me say A Deuce. Supernova sound, so there's no fear. Air, we superior, sweeter than them till this motherfucker lockdown already gets. Can't nobody do this better, we the better. Supernova people come and keep it banging like a million songs. Deuce, 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 Hero, I mean Heru, make you take 2 A-Deuce, break through, get in a breakdown, system shakedown, drop through the valley in the dead with a top down, make a nigga wanna go pimp ho, make a nigga wanna sling them O, that is if I was your friend, pose then as your friend, this cycle got to end, these rappers like pretend that they gonna win, but if they don't it end, I'll be the type to rap that mic and then they people again, there ain't no style, there ain't no beat that I can't get up in. Deuce, 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 Listen, man, Duke-Aseer. We call Aces running fear. Strong like Loki, strong like bear. Buzz like bees, CPGs. Strong like a nation of B's and C's. Get on your knees, kiss this ring. When it comes out, angels sing. Fans have to fall without the rain. Bringing that Brooklyn back with flame. Shorty, we don't shut the thing. High rappers up like ball and string. Change them seasons, winter, spring. Aces come and niggas is running. Cause we black kings have to run it. Because we come to run it. These niggas know we on it.
Show from the back, force in the jack. Shows in the bowl, let it bang like a jack. Six second demon, the man talk back. Beat him like a same when they hit him with the beam. Hit him on the ship, let it was war ski. Show him by the brain to the red, blue, green. Back to the end, you don't want none of me. I'm the menacing man from a Heru.
Okay. That's what's up. So we down to the last minute. We want to say peace to all the human families of planet Earth. You know, again, I am Asad, the Duke-Aseer. Anybody wants to holler at me, see any things that we're doing, you can go to www.aseerthedukeaseers.com. TIERS as in levels. And my brother, it's been a great show.
Yes, it was.
Let them know what's up.
You can definitely check me out. You check out my MySpace, myspace.com/Saga Asad, SAGAASAD, no spaces or anything like that. And definitely, want to thank the human family for coming and checking everything out. Coming to rock with us with Super Heru Radio. You can email your questions, your comments, different topics for the next, episode that we're going to be having.
Which is going to be an hour, which is going to be from 9 to 10:30 next week, Monday. So everybody holler.
You can email the brother at houseofl@hotmail.com, and, definitely, we're going to continue to keep on, keep on doing the work, keep on bringing it to the people, bringing it into a different format. We're going to definitely have different types of shows as well for, all the artists out there. And, when I say artists, I don't just mean rappers or singers and things like that, but also, painters and the likes, because I do deal in, different types of forms of technology where we can have, videos and whatnot to showcase, your works on the internet.
Indeed. So with that, we say peace to Super Heru Radio.
Peace.